Hey guys, what's happening? So, we've had some great feedback on some of the videos we've been doing, which has been great to see. And a lot of people requesting to do some on different subjects about training. This video isn't about training or doesn't have much to do with it. This is a video I've wrestled with doing for quite a while. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. I don't even know if I'm going to post it. But I wanted to try and help some people. I see a lot of pain on my social media right now. A lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are going through some bad times. And what we try to do is we always try and help people. And sometimes by doing that is sharing some of the experience that you've gone through and have been able to overcome. So I'm hoping by this that it reaches out and helps one or two people. The video is called Raw, and this is the rawest you'll ever see me. It's me down to the bare bones. It's the most truthful you ever see me. And in a world of social media where there's so much fake bullshit, believe me, this is as truthful as it gets. It's a tough subject for me. I'm going to do it in one take. I'm going to hopefully try and keep it together, but hopefully give me some patience as well, because like I said, with a bit of luck we'll keep it together. There's probably only one, maybe two people in the world that know these things that I'm about to share. But again, hopefully with the aim that it will help some people. But yeah, basically, when people look at me, one of the first things they notice is my face tattoo, faith. And you see me talk about it and post about faith and never giving up and stuff like that. And well, a lot of people feel that it's to do with God and my religion and stuff like that, and to an extent it is. Those things are the things that I hold dear to me. The tattoo isn't. The tattoo is, again, most you know, Faith was the name I gave my little girl, who unfortunately never got the opportunity to come into this world, who had her life taken from her. And it hit me really bad. A piece of me died when I lost her, and something that I'll never get back. And for those who are parents and have kids, and you remember the time or when you just found out and how exciting it is, I remember seeing her on a scan for the first time and seeing her moving and wriggling, and you can't believe that's something that you made, and you fall head over heels in love straight away, and I know I did. And you planned her whole life out for him, ahead of him, before they were even born. And the hardest part was not knowing the truth behind what happened, and a lot of it was I didn't want to accept the truth. I didn't want to believe the truth, but I didn't know what was going on, and the guilt that I had to carry for a long time. A father's job is to protect his little girl, no matter what. He's our king, and to look after her and to keep her safe. And I couldn't stop what happened, and I had no idea and didn't know what was going on, but I couldn't keep her safe, and it ate me up for a long time. It still does. But I remember the guys took me away. I had to get away from all. We went out to Spain, and one night I went down to the beach and we had a little funeral for her. And we went down and lit some candles and said a few prayers, and I wrote her name. I called her Faith, and I wrote her name on a card and a letter to her. And I buried the name in the sand with her scan picture. And I made her two promises. And the first one was that I'd find out what happened to her no matter what, and I'd get the truth. And then the second was that I'd become the man that she deserved to have as a father, and that I'd make her proud, because I wasn't back then. And I stayed on the beach all night and waited for the sun to come up, and went back to the hotel, and I went about doing what I could to get justice for her and to find out the truth. And it got me in trouble, and I got arrested more times than I can remember. I remember every time I got thrown in the cell for bullshit, absolute bullshit. I'd look up and I'd go, I need your help again. I need you to pull a few strings up there and get me out of this. And bless her, she always did. And she kept me safe and she looked after me. And even to the point where they charged me with assaulting 2 women. And for simply pointing at one and calling them a murderer. Never touched anyone. And charged me with assault. And anyone that knows me, knows anything about me, knows I detest men that touch women. I absolutely detest them, the cowards and the scum, and I never would. And I remember even when that certain person said the most vile, disgusting things about the baby to my face, and I never once betrayed my morals and beliefs and raised a hand, and I never would. But they had me for pointing a finger and calling someone a murderer, which to this day I stand by and still believe that. And I remember being in the court, and I brought her a scanned picture with me, and I kept it in my pocket the whole time. And I'd kept my hand on it, and I'd have my thumb over it, and I'd rub my thumb. And it reminded me why I was doing this and why I was going through this, and it was for her and to get the truth for her. And it kept me strong and it kept me going. And that day we did get the truth, and as hard as it was, but it was 8 months, and we got the truth and what we'd been chasing for. And while it felt a bit of relief and I'd got the justice that she deserved, I then had to go on my life. And for me, a big part of that was getting back to competing. I'd gave up competing to go and start a family. And for me it was, and I'd post about going back to training and prep, and it'd been 2 years since I'd done a show, and we shared it, and we shared our story, and we talk about faith, and I grieved through social media, you know. It was almost like a diary that me to her, that she had direct access to and could read, if it made sense. But other people was reading it, and something amazing happened. People reached out and they shared their personal stories, you know, just losing a child or losing a baby, or, you know, losing a parent. I had one guy who was battling cancer, and he took motivation from what I was doing and wanted to go to the gym, and it was amazing. And all these people reached out, and I remember I'd read these messages, and I'd sit there in tears reading their stories. It was so humbling. These people felt they could open up and share that with me, and we supported each other, and it became like this big support group where we'd share all of our struggles and what we were going through, and we got strength from each other from it. And I'd give out a few of them training plans and help them, and they'd show me their progress, and it was the most inspiring, motivating thing ever. And from something so tragic and hard, something almost good had come from it. Certainly couldn't replace any of the pain and the heartbreak of what happened, and it couldn't replace faith, but she was able to reach out, and it was able to help people get their lives back on track who had gone through some awful things. And we done the competitions, and you know, before those shows, I couldn't place for shit. You know, I'd never won a show, never placed, and we done 4 shows, and every single comp we walked away with top 3, and you know, won trophies and got qualified for another British final. And it was because of everyone's support and because I was doing it for faith. And you know, when we went to court that day, the one promise I made about finding out the truth, we got that. And then the second one, I was trying to make her proud. And you seen it, you know, when I'm pointing up on stage, up to the sky, it's for her, and I'm pointing to her, and she's with me all the time. When we're backstage, I'm looking up, and don't make your old man look silly out there. Look after me, you know, and let me fall over in front of everyone. And so it's all for her. And we were able to sort of turn things around. But the problem was then, after the competitions, that was done, and all our focus, that was a distraction. And once that distraction was gone, you start falling back into that darkness again. That you haven't dealt with the issues, and I found myself falling back into a bad place again. And I didn't want to live anymore. I didn't want to continue. I didn't want to go on. I wasn't able to find peace, and I'd never do anything stupid because of my religious beliefs and because of the people I care about here. But I'd go to bed at times and I'd pray for God that I wouldn't wake up in the morning. I prayed that I'd die and I was done. And I became reckless, and I was pumping so much gear into me, so much steroids, on the hope that, I'll either get massive or I'll die of a heart attack. I don't care. And I had almost like a death wish. And weirdly, as bad as the pec tear was, probably saved my life because I couldn't train and I had to come off all the gear and clean my body out and give myself a break because there was no point. I wasn't training. So it as bad as it was, you look back, it was probably the best thing that ever happened, and it's the reason I'm probably still here. I remember someone gave me Dallas McCarver's cycle before he died, and it was a crazy cycle. And I said, right, I'm going to do that, and I'd actually done more than what he was doing, and that was where my head was at the time. The bad thing though, obviously, is that training was my distraction, training was my salvation. It was the thing that got me out of bed in the morning, it was the thing that kept me going. And have that taken away, it was terrifying. I'd scratched and clawed and climbed my way out of hell. And when you've got out of hell, you're terrified of ever going back there. As many people will tell you, there's not many things I'm scared of. I've lived through my worst fears. And, oh God, anyone tell you, apart from snakes, I'm scared of snakes as well. But that's another story. But when you've gone through such a dark place and you've crawled yourself out, the thing that terrified me more than anything was going back to that. You never want to return there. You go back to that hell. And I remember sitting in the hospital and I said to John, my friend, I'm going to fall back into this hole. Everything I had was training. That's all I had left. And it's been taken from me. And I've worked so hard. And John was positive and he said, you won't allow it. You've gone through worse, you've come back from worse, and you'll get through it. And the whole time, like I said, that we kept positive and we kept focused, and we were able to focus on coming back and being stronger. And again, that promise that I made, that I'd always make you proud and that I wouldn't give up, and that was the strength that kept me going. And I had my angel watching over me, and that was all I needed. And it's the same with everything else, it's to keep going all the time, to push through, to not give up on yourself.